started with the Avondale Community Facilities District Board meeting. Marcella, do you mind doing roll call, please?
Board Member Condi? Here. Board Member Malone? Here. Board Member Nielsen? Here. Board Member Solario? Here. Vice Chair Pineda? Here. Chair Weiss?
Here.
And Board Member White has an excused absence tonight.
Sounds good. Thank you. This is a call to the public. Is there anybody in the audience who'd like to speak on the proposed fiscal year 2025 budget and tax levy? Marcella, anybody online?
Thank you, Mayor. I have not received any requests to speak for agenda item 2. I believe we do have a presentation from the Finance and Budget Director.
Sounds good. Thank you. Hi, Renee.
Good evening. Chair, Vice Chair, and members of the Community Facilities District Board. I am here tonight to present the final CFD final budget. So there have been no changes since the tentative budget here. We do have a total tax rate included with this budget of $4.15, broken down between the primary and the secondary rate. The total budget is just under 3.3. It does include a contingency of $100,000, which would be recovered by developer contributions in the case of any unforeseen items that should be included. So with that, we do recommend the public hearing, convening to a special meeting, and adopting the CFD Resolution 2-2024, setting forth the final budget for fiscal year 2025, and Resolution 3-2024, setting the property tax levy for fiscal year ending June 30th, 2025. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Renee? Seeing none? Do we need to do a motion on this for approval, or is it just for a public hearing for the first?
Thank you, Mayor. This item is just a public hearing. And I do want the record to reflect that, that Councilmember White is on Zoom, so she is in attendance to the meeting tonight.
Hi, Max. Can I get a motion to adjourn?
Hello.
We need to adjourn this part of the meeting, though, correct, Marcel? I just want to make sure we're following protocol.
Yes, correct.
Can I get a motion for adjournment, please? I have a motion from Board Member Malone, a second from Board Member Condi. Any further questions? Seeing none, please vote. Board Member White?
Yes.
Thank you, ma'am. We are adjourned. I'd like to call to order the Alomar Community Facilities District Special Board Meeting. Marcella?
Board Member Condi? Here. Board Member Malone? Here. Board Member Nielsen? Here. Board Member Solario? Board Member White?
Here.
Vice Chair Pineda? Here. Chair Weiss?
Here. Can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda, please? I have a motion from Board Member Malone, a second from Board Member Condi. Any further questions? Seeing none?
Yes.
Thank you, Max. Passed 7-0. Thank you, board members. Can I get a motion to adjourn the special meeting? I have a motion from Board Member Solario, a second from Board Member Malone. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote. Board Member White?
Yes.
Thank you. We are adjourned. I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Avondale City Council. Marcella, do you mind doing a roll call, please?
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, would you like to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Would you all please join me in a moment of silence, please? Thank you. Thank you, Marcella, for keeping me on my toes.
I'll do roll call now.
If you want to.
Councilmember Condi?
Here.
Councilmember Malone? Here. Councilmember Nielsen?
Here.
Councilmember Solario? Here. Councilmember White?
Here.
Vice Mayor Pineda? Here. Mayor Weiss?
Here. Ron, item 2A, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up first is our city attorney to present 2 new employees. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. I'm here to introduce you to two new staff members in the City Attorney's Office. First, we have Blessing Ajeho. She is a second-year law student at the University of Arizona, James E. Rogers College of Law. She earned her Bachelor's of Law degree from Ahmadu Bello University in Nigeria in 2015. She practiced as a licensed attorney for 6 years in Nigeria before coming to the States. She came to pursue her Master's of Law degree in International Trade and Business Law at the University of Arizona. She then embarked on her U.S. law degree journey, demonstrating her commitment to continuously learning and professional growth. Blessing's interest in transactional and municipal practice led her to join our office as a legal intern this summer, where she is eagerly seeking to expand her knowledge and gain practical experience. Blessing will be with the city for 8 weeks this summer, and she will shadow us and learn all about municipal law. So welcome, Blessing.
Thank you.
Second is a familiar face, Mary Grace McNear. She's practiced municipal law and real estate, litigation, land use, and construction law in the Phoenix area for over 30 years. Her prior government experience has been with the cities of Scottsdale, Mesa, and Avondale. She returns to us from private practice, where she worked for the law firm of Buse Gilbert McGroder, doing land use and zoning cases for private clients. Mary Grace prefers working for Avondale because she appreciates the value that her municipal practice brings to the community at large. We are excited to welcome Mary Grace back to Avondale and to the City Attorney's Office. She will be advising development services, engineering, public safety, courts, city prosecutor, and assisting me with litigation. So, welcome, Mary Grace.
I have to tell you, I got the agenda last week. I'm going through it, and I'm looking at the new employees, and I thought, there's no way there's two people with the same exact name. So, welcome back. You were missed.
Thank you so much.
Did they give you a bigger office?
Actually, Steve and I are sharing an office.
Okay. All right. Let us know how that works out.
We need some more space.
Yeah.
Well, Joel's here. Joel's like in his head going through all the square footage and all the space.
Good job, Mayor.
Anytime I can.
Thanks for pointing it out.
I got 6 months. Anytime I can.
Next up, Mayor, is Joel, speaking of the devil, our Director of Facilities.
No, that's good. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, I am here to introduce to you two of our newest employees. This is Rosa Brown and Abe Bandon. Rosa is originally from California. She moved to the Valley in 2001 and comes to us from the radiation protection industry. Rosa enjoys sewing and home improvement projects, and she's currently taking classes at EMCC for facilities maintenance. Abe is an Arizona native. He served our country in the Army, joining late at age 30. Most recently, he worked locally as a packaging engineer. Abe is a fan of all sports, and in those rare moments when there's not a game, Abe's favorite hobby is laser engraving.
Okay, so fan of all sports. There has to be one sport that stands out. Football. College or pro? Pro. All right, your team is? All right. Good way to start. Wow, okay. Because some people in the room are Cowboy fans.
We won't talk about those guys.
Wait, we won't. Rosa, welcome aboard. Thanks, Joel.
And now we have a lady you'll see a lot of tonight. We have Renee, your Director of Finance and Budget.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I'm here tonight to present to you Takia Green. She's our new procurement buyer. She started with the city on May 13th. Takia has worked in the public sector for over 7 years in procurement, finance, and administration. She's also worked across various sectors, which include public health, public fiduciary, air quality, and state corrections. Takia has an associate degree in business administration from Gibbs College in Montclair, New Jersey, and she's a mother of 2 and a wife of 18 years. She enjoys event planning and is looking forward to making the city of Avondale her home.
I don't know if a lot of people know, but you have an incredibly difficult job. And not just because you're working for the city of Avondale. That's not what I mean. Well, I have to clarify that. But procurement's hard. And I know you go through the history of the city, and I think it's very hard to work for a government agency at a local level, because you have a tendency to know everyone, all the employees, all the people, and everything. And your job is to make sure that procurement rules are followed, procedures are followed, and that sometimes that answer is no, and that's a very difficult job, especially starting out new. So welcome aboard. You have complete support from the council. Thank you for that. Thanks. Ron, was that better clarifying it?
Thank you. I appreciate that, Mr. Mayor. All right, Mr. Mayor and council, up next, we're going to have a presentation by Lieutenant Lopez from the Police Department on the 4th of July.
This is something I asked Ron and Chief to kind of bring together, just because as we get a month away from 4th of July, we all get calls, the community gets calls, and I think it's important to know what we're doing, and we can communicate that information back to the public at large. So, LT?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, thank you for having me here today. I'm Varney Lopez, Lieutenant with the Police Department on the Patrol Division. I'm here to kind of talk about fireworks and education and enforcement. Obviously, like you mentioned, with the 4th of July holiday coming up, we're ramping up for our efforts in that area. The Police Department responds to a variety of different firework calls throughout the year. We respond to mostly illegal firework calls, and most of the stuff that goes in the air. But the holidays we like to focus on enforcement and details is really the 4th of July and the New Year's Eve holidays. Obviously, what's legal, as we know, most of the consumer fireworks that are sold by vendors throughout the valley and here in Avondale are the sparklers, the things that are on the ground that produces a great light and shows, and they're fun to use. But the stuff that we like to focus is obviously the illegal fireworks. Legal fireworks, as we all know, anything that usually goes in the air, like the big aerials, that booms that you see in the air, those obviously are illegal. The Roman candles, the people that hold in their hands, but they still go in the air, obviously those are illegal. Anything that really goes loud and bangs and booms, most likely they're going to be illegal. However, like I mentioned, some of the consumer fireworks that are out there are very large and come in various different sizes. Here's one, a quick video.
This is the amazing.
It's called the Amazing because it kind of is amazing. It's a very nice large display, as you will see. Obviously, the cell phone video doesn't do it a whole lot of justice, but the person is standing about 20, 30 feet away. And as you'll see, the radius of this type of firework is pretty large. Yes, it is. It's still going. So, again, that was a legal firework, a great display. As you noticed by the video, it's almost a 2-minute long type of display. And yes, it is legal. Nothing went in the air besides the sparkling and the noise and obviously the light show. Like I mentioned, the cell phone video doesn't do it justice. It does provide a large display, a good 20-foot plus radius of show, which is why it's kind of in that area there. But obviously, when is it legal? State statute allows us to use fireworks, different holidays throughout the year. Obviously, the main ones that we like to focus on is the July 4th holiday and the New Year's Eve holiday. But throughout that, you'll see, obviously, vendors start selling them in advance before the actual holiday. However, people cannot use them between the hours of 11 p.m. and 8 a.m., except, obviously, during the July 4th holiday and the New Year's Eve holiday. And our city code mirrors that statute, which allows us to do enforcement and education. Here's a quick video that the West Valley agencies, all the police departments in the West Valley, have joined together in continuous education on fireworks.
3 reasons your West Valley police and fire departments want you to keep summer celebrations enjoyable for all.
Don't blow 4th of July by using illegal fireworks.
There are so many ways of having a blast without breaking the law.
You can watch a professional fireworks show, or you can buy consumer fireworks at the store.
Just remember to use them in a clear and open area under the supervision of a responsible adult.
Keep a bucket of water on hand to dump the used fireworks so they don't spark a fire.
Loud noises from illegal fireworks is disruptive to your neighbors. It can sound like gunshots, and that's upsetting to everyone.
It can be scary for children or even pets. The explosions can be so loud that it'll cause them to run away and sometimes get lost.
We know that you know that lighting illegal fireworks is against the law.
Bottle rockets, Roman candles, and anything else that goes up in the air have been banned in Arizona for years now.
If first responders have to get involved because you're lighting illegal fireworks, you could pay hundreds of dollars in fines.
We're often overwhelmed with fireworks calls around the summer holidays.
Let your first responders handle serious emergencies to protect our communities.
Don't blow 4th of July for everyone. 3 reasons.
Obviously, that's part of our education piece. On social media, we start displaying and producing information about illegal fireworks or legal fireworks on our social media platforms. Thankfully, the city is hosting the Light Up the Sky event, which we also try to get our citizens and people to just respond to that event if they want to see the large aerial type display. We also visit our vendors, or we have officers ready to locate and visit the vendors to ensure they're not selling illegal fireworks at the stores that we have on every corner throughout the city. And part of it, we also visit our social media platforms again to make sure no one's selling illegal fireworks online through Facebook Marketplace and or OfferUp, where a lot of people may try to sell illegal fireworks as well. And that's part of our enforcement as well. We have dedicated teams. A unit that will be working the 4th of July holiday as well as the New Year's Eve holiday that will be dedicated to these illegal type firework calls for service. Sometimes we use our aerial drone and other tools necessary to respond to a certain area if need be. But most of the time we have our officers kind of dedicated to each neighborhood, driving through the neighborhood and on view any type of activity or people that may be using illegal type fireworks. And at most, if need be, we will issue citations as needed. Here are some statistics that we've been tracking. Again, some of the only holidays that we're really tracking is really July 4th, which is a large holiday, and New Year's Eve holiday. For the last few years, we've been tracking some of the firework calls. We also track the shots fired calls because a lot of times if it's illegal fireworks, someone may think it might be an actual gunshot, but it might be a firework that's going off, so we still respond that and track that as well. We tracking the citations that we've issued for that evening, and also all calls for service, meaning all the types of calls that we responded for that night, and all between 6 p.m. and 6 a.m. the next morning. So for that night, these are the types of calls that we're tracking. So in conclusion, we are dedicating resources. Like I mentioned, we have a unit dedicated to work the 4th of July holiday, ready to respond to any type of illegal firework calls for service. But most of all, we want to educate our citizens. We start preemptively educating our citizens weeks in advance through our social media platforms. We've partnered with city marketing to provide information on the water billing and ensure that people understand that illegal fireworks are obviously illegal and we'll conduct enforcement as needed. But ultimately, we want to continue to monitor every type of holiday that we do enforcement. 4th of July, we'll track our stats and see if there's anything that we got to change or update or do better the next time. So thank you. I'm open for any questions.
So there are a couple things that come to mind. One is it has to be incredibly frustrating for officers when they're trying to locate a fireworks show going off when no one has called. And you know what's happening in the neighborhood, and you park a vehicle, you stage a vehicle fairly close because you know in the past you're monitoring where those calls have happened before, and you can't find them, so it's a waste of police time. The other part that would be frustrating to me is if a neighborhood didn't call, and I'm going to use Garden Lakes because we had a Garden Lakes HOA meeting, 3 weeks ago? And I told the story of last New Year's Day. I had spent the night downtown with some friends. I came home. It was the afternoon. I kept on hearing fireworks go off, and I live across the street from Garden Lakes. And I finally got pissed off enough where I got in my car, and I drove through the neighborhood, and there's people lighting off fireworks in the air and exploding. So I took a video of it and called Avondale PD, waited for Avondale PD to show up. Those fireworks have been going off probably for 7 or 8 hours. And I'm wondering why the neighbors didn't call. Because if I had a headache and was irritated after an hour, the people who lived across the street and who were next door had to be incredibly irritated, especially if they had pets, or they had someone who's former military, or they had a senior citizen living in the house, or someone who's incredibly impacted by what these things can do. So those are the first two things that come to mind is, how do we get past that barrier where people will call instead of just dealing with it, because they shouldn't have to deal with it. The other part that gets me, especially from the amazing video, is that it's in the middle of the street. It's impeding traffic. It's spreading paper and debris everywhere. It's going on other people's properties. What I saw last year was actually a street that had melted. There was part of the street, because of fireworks, because they were lighting in the same area, had actually melted. What is our code about legal fireworks being used? Does it have to be used on private property, or can it be used on a public street and sidewalk?
Mayor, those are great questions. For your first question, yes, it is sometimes frustrating to respond to these illegal type fireworks, and especially if we wanted to conduct type of enforcement. One, because it's a possession type law, right? If we want to cite somebody for illegal fireworks, we got to make sure we kind of catch them in the act, like you provided video. That's great, and that helps us, and we rely on that. The citizen or the call for service to say, yeah, this person wearing the red shirt and blue pants is the one lighting fireworks. So I commend you for saying that, and thank you for saying that, because we do rely on the citizens to call us and help us tracking these illegal type fireworks. And second, where can they use these fireworks? I mean, having it in the open, in my opinion, is better than in somebody's backyard where it could cause a fire type danger. You know, obviously it's summertime, which is why legal fireworks are illegal, because you don't know where they're going to land. It may cause some type of fire danger to your neighbors or a park or some type of somebody's private property. So we will enforce those as needed. We do expect our citizens to pick up after themselves, like you said, or we could look at some type of littering type charge if need be. But we want to educate them first. And that's part of our social media platforms that we use to educate our citizens. Hey, this is how, when, and where you could use types of fireworks. And please, like you mentioned, pick up after yourselves, because it can leave a lot of dirt and debris from the fireworks show, or it could cause damage, as you mentioned, to other people's property. So we want to make sure we educate that correctly.
Barney, thank you. I would love to hear from council on any thoughts that you have, because 4th of July is a month away, and it impacts all neighborhoods in all parts of the city. So, Tina, any thoughts?
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Lieutenant Lopez. I live in Garden Lakes, and I have 2 dogs. So whenever it's 4th of July, New Year's, I mean, my poor dogs go crazy. And I think, Mayor, a lot of people don't call because they don't think it's going to make a difference, right? So sometimes they're like, I'm not going to call because nothing ever gets done. So the education piece is, I think, very important, which we're doing. So thank you guys for doing that. And the other thing that concerns me, too, is because my house is behind the canal. And there's people back there that will set off fireworks, everything. And I always get concerned because even though it's by water, I mean, there's still a lot of shrubbery that can catch fire. So, I know we're doing things, but, we can always improve on it. But I think just bringing awareness, and you're right, Mayor, just kind of saying at what point do we say, hey, you're causing damage, or it's a fire safety hazard, because that's always my concern. I mean, we live in the desert. Things are dry. People are out there. They're beautiful to see, but I think they have to do it somewhere where it can be managed and monitored should a spark go off.
So, Tina, we do a $1,000 fine. And how many fines last year? 10, 14?
Go back.
Would a reward for the person who called in information, a percentage of that fine, would that work to incentivize? Because I think some people are afraid to call because they don't want to call on their neighbors. They're afraid it's going to come back to them some way. And I understand that. But I'm just wondering, is there something that the city council can do to give police officers more of a fight in this game?
Well, we just started imposing the fines, correct, last year?
We started this effort several years ago now, but yes, like I mentioned, it is sometimes hard to issue that citation for the person having possession of that illegal firework if need be. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's something we can consider. What is city manager's thoughts, attorney?
This is a presentation. This isn't meant to get a lot of direction, so we'd have to bring something like that back at a future date.
Do you mind doing that? Do you mind bringing it back?
Sure.
Sure. Council on what LT said, but bring it back. Summer's hard, but maybe after the 4th of July to see what impact our efforts had?
And Mayor, Council, I just want to give you an update I got or information from our city prosecutor. So we did start in 2021, start imposing the fines. Before that, we used to do diversion, but I think you got, the direction was to enforce. So we started doing convictions with $500 fines. So the fine is $500.
Okay. Veronica?
Thank you, Lieutenant Varney, for the presentation. I just want to commend the Avondale Police Department. That was happening in my neighborhood, or probably mine and Curtis's neighborhood, and it was an off month. It wasn't even a month of 4th of July or New Year's, and I'd hear it because it would wake me up at about 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, and I was like, that just sounds really close. But what happened, it wasn't even in my neighborhood. It was actually across the street in a different neighborhood. And I kept calling, and in the neighborhood, there's a neighborhood app, the next door, and my neighbors kept on complaining about the same area. Eventually, we were able to all kind of just make sure that we contacted the police. I said, we have to contact our non-emergency line and make sure that we catch them. You guys did catch them, and you guys were able to take care of that for the entire neighborhood because it was probably affecting the Cashin community, the community in between Cashin right behind Fry's, and then the Coldwater Ridge community, which is my community. So all of us were hearing it, and they were going off at 2 or 3 in the morning. So everything you guys did to ensure that happens, I know that you take that type of care every 4th of July and or New Year. So thank you.
Thank you, Veronica. Max? All right, Max, I'm going to go to Curtis, and I'll come back to you. Curtis, any thoughts?
Yeah, just a couple items. Assuming that with all of these that you put up here, that you know where these places are, I'm looking at, is there a place that you could, where there's a higher propensity of these things happen, a focus area? And if you put an aerial drone up there, I mean, if you know all 50 of them are happening here and the rest of them are spread out, I don't know that this, just a focus area, so that you could put your drone up there at 8 o'clock at night or 9 o'clock at night. And would that help at all if you just focused in one area where there's a higher propensity of these things going off in the past?
Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, that's a great question. Thank you. That is a tactic that we use. So a lot of times we deploy our officers within neighborhoods, sometimes in unmarked vehicles, to get, if there's a specific area that we wanted to target because we see a lot of aerials in the specific area, we may sit on that area and just kind of watch it. That's where we may deploy the drone and kind of just narrow it down a little more to focus on a specific either block, street, or house and kind of start targeting that specific area. But like you mentioned, sometimes it is a little harder if it's in the air. You're trying to figure out, okay, is it here, there, where, and we try to slow it down and target that specific area.
And on what Veronica mentioned there with the non-emergency number, some of these people just don't want to get involved. Even with HOAs, they don't want to get involved. But if you're going to do social media blasts and things like that, maybe you could put, if you haven't already, that non-emergency number there so that it's more freely available. A lot of people don't know, a lot of residents don't know that there is a non-emergency number, and if maybe you just put that on your blast or whatever you wanted to do, that if you hear these things, call this number, it's non-emergency, there's no problem with it, no threats.
Absolutely will. And anybody can also be anonymous as well when they call us to say, hey, I want to be anonymous, but I know that this person here, this location, is shooting off illegal fireworks.
Mayor, I don't know, you'd mentioned something about, giving those who called in or something. I mean, a $50 gift card for Amazon or something like that.
Ron said we'll discuss that later on.
Yeah, so that was just a suggestion.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Rhoda?
Thank you for your presentation. Like Veronica, I'd like to commend you guys because I feel like you have come a long way in certain neighborhoods. I know that we celebrated 4th of July in my parents' neighborhood of Roosevelt Park, and it's really bad there all year long. And I think, just like the rest of council has echoed, sometimes people don't want to call because you're placed, if you call a non-emergency, and I will be the first to tell you, you're put on a hold, sometimes longer than usual, especially on holidays. As Curtis stated, a lot of people know that you have that non-emergency number. I know that recently I went to, I forget what event it was, but it was recent, where there was a magnet that said what to call non-emergency for. And we learned it in the Citizens Academy, I think, with you as well. But I think now would be a good time to, maybe this is a wrong thing, a marketing piece that, we use that non-emergency number we all know Peer and her people are good with the graphics, and putting that out there for people in case if, you hear fireworks or they're going off or whatever, you can call this number so that people feel like there's a number to be called. I think if we address the issue with someone to call or, any given piece, it might be online, it might be in social media. I know PD does a wonderful job with their social media. Someone to get behind it and really kind of make what we call like a campaign for 4th of July on saying the safety for everyone, just illegal fireworks and stuff, do that.
Thank you, Florida. Vice Mayor?
Thank you. I think it's pretty clear up here that for another time and discussion that Council does have the appetite to try and work through this, but in the meantime, I just think it's great that you brought to the attention, and thank you so much, Lieutenant Lopez, in regards to the presentation, because when I talk to members of the community, one of the comments often is, why are we not doing enough to stop the fireworks? Or why do we not see officers here, there, and everywhere? And it's clear that, it's kind of like whack-a-mole. You show up, and it's either stopped or it's starting in another area. And I mean, you all can only do what you can do. And so for that fact, I think this is a great opportunity to communicate to the public that you're aware, that you take this seriously. Our public safety takes it seriously. And as a council, we take it seriously in regards to the safety of the residents. But there's more that can be done. And so I don't want to belabor the point, but just thank you for sharing awareness that you are following up on leads. You do, go to the areas that are being announced, or at least, demonstrating there's an issue. But sometimes by the time you get there, it's over with, and just that whole issue still persists. So, thank you for sharing.
And I know people who are fans of fireworks, and this is in no way derogatory toward them. It's not. But I talk to people who are at the American Legion Post 61. And they relive some of the most horrible days of their lives on New Year's Eve and 4th of July with what they hear. And I don't think people grasp that enough. We can talk about pets, we can talk about dogs hiding underneath the bed and babies and everything else, but there are people who are out there who are incredibly impacted by what happens on these two holidays. And I think if people knew more about that, they would have more sympathy and empathy for the people in their community. So, Max, I'm going to go to you last, if that's okay.
Yes, I'm here. Hopefully you can hear me okay, Mayor. If you can just show me a thumbs up. I wanted to thank Lieutenant Lopez and the Chief for the awesome presentation. Okay, perfect. I also, I'm very concerned about the impact on, I have a few neighbors who are veterans, and when the fireworks go off, it takes them back to a war zone, unfortunately. And that seems like they're complaining about a non-issue, but I have never fought in a war, and I have never been in a place where I'm constantly hearing guns going off. So I want us to be sensitive to that, because sometimes people are really just going through traumatic events sitting at home. I'm very also concerned about some of our operations issues. They are burning up roads. I think that's what I found most recently. In my home, I saw the remains of fireworks that had gone off already. So I'm just concerned with kind of the after effects of the fireworks. No, I don't want to raid on anybody's 4th of July at all. I want people to have a good time. We have Light Up the Skies. I want to encourage as many people to come out and participate in that free event. I think that would be awesome for them to be able to see beautiful fireworks they don't have to pay for in a community space and really enhance our community. Those are even troublesome for some people to hear, but at least we know they're controlled and that they're safe. To see the exhibit of the legal fireworks, those things that are legal can still damage our communities. Those things that are legal can still cause fires. So if they're not used correctly, we just have to be aware of that. So I'm really appreciating the media blitz that's going out with the 7 cities in the West Valley. I'm just really hoping that we can encourage people to act and react the right way on the 4th of July, being conscious of all of the people that might be impacted and the infrastructure in our city that can be impacted as well. Thank you so much, Mayor.
Thank you.
And thank you again to PD for the partnerships.
LT, any last thing we should know?
No, sir. We will be out that evening, like I mentioned, so we'll be conducting these educations ahead of time and enforcement as needed.
And Ron, I think Vice Mayor said it perfectly. There's an appetite to discuss this further after the holiday and see where we're at. My hopes are that the numbers are significantly down. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Item number 3 is unscheduled public appearances, and I do have a few cards. I know a big part of the discussion is about a mental health home that is going to or is planned in some part of our city. I want to let you know that the 2 gentlemen you just saw up here, LT and Chief, will meet with you after if you wish to. And I'm also going to have our InterGov Liz talk with you to kind of give you some insight into what departments might be a good outreach for this. So in some cases, the city of Avondale's hands are tied. So I do want to start out with Gonzalo. It's good seeing you again, sir. Thank you. Will you just state your name for the record?
My name is Gonzalo Ortiz. I live at 10701 West Hopi in Cashin and Avondale. I've been a long resident there since 1970. Anyway, I'm here to thank everybody in the city of Avondale and the whole community. Not only the councils and the mayor. They have been very supportive. And what I'm talking about is St. William's, St. Vincent de Paul. St. William's was burned down on May the 1st at 1 o'clock in the morning. And of course, the first responder was the fire department. And I had heard, that the fire department was trying to save, St. William's, but I think it was just impossible, I mean, it just burned down to the ground, And also, we've had some fire department members that have donated, gift cards to St. Vincent de Paul, and also Riggs. I think he's in charge of the charity. He brought us some gift cards too. And also, I just want to throw this in. Captain Christina Lopez came over to our the Mercy House and presented us with some gift cards, and she also volunteered for us too. I mean, we were really, really grateful for that. And not only just the fire department, the whole community, and has come, close to help us out, And we do have a lot of response, not only just in the whole valley, a lot of the conferences in the metropolitan. There's quite a few St. Vincent de Paul conference, and they've been very generous, to help us out, And I also want to bring up Mercy House Community Center. We have to thank her because she came and asked us, if we wanted to use the Mercy House, and I said sure, So we're there every Wednesday to give out, the food, and also if they need any help with utilities and stuff like that, So but she's been very, very grateful. We'd just like to thank the whole community here in Avondale. This is Alice Samaripa. She was the postmaster there in Cashin, and I asked her to come aboard the St. Vincent de Paul, and she turned me down twice, but the third time. He says,
pushy?
But she.
right time when all this happened. So yeah, I'm new to this, but it's been an experience I would never expected. And we're grateful for everybody who supported us with the fundraisers we had over the weekend, and raised $3,000 just in a little 2 weekends. So thank you for everybody for helping us out.
You're part, and I can't comment a lot, but you're part of the community. St. William's been a part of the community for generations. Our hope, and I know that it will get rebuilt, and you have the thoughts and prayers of everyone up here and the entire Avondale community. And please let us know how we can help some more.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I just want to thank you. Thank you, board, the council, the vice mayor, and the council members supporting us, and the fundraiser there at Alice House. She was very generous to use her place, and we did great.
Can I ask who won the TV?
Oh, not yet.
Not till Father's Day.
Okay. All right. Okay. I just want to make sure. All right. I'm just checking.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. All right. We had a joke that Pep Guzman was going to win it because Pep Guzman wins everything. So that was great. Can I have the people who'd like to come down and speak about the mental home in their area? Whoever wants to speak. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 comments.
Mayor, I believe it's Leo and then Diana are here to speak.
Okay, and the other ones are do not wish to speak. Yeah, Leo says no. Okay. No, we're good here. Okay.
And
who would ever like to come down and speak, please?
Yvonne, I'm sorry. And I do have one request to speak from Renee Bryant, but she did not list what she wanted to speak about.
Okay.
So if Renee is here, you're welcome to approach the podium at this time. Thank you.
Sir, do you mind just saying your name for the record?
Absolutely. My name is Leo James Ekdahl. I live at 1221 117th Drive in Avondale, Arizona, in the Coldwater Ridge community. The reason why I came here is recently I moved to Avondale. I've owned a home down here for some time, but after 61 years of living in Seattle, Washington, I decided to move down here, and I love it here. I really do. Recently, I found out from Diana, my neighbor, that 2 doors down from me, someone purchased a home and is trying to get permits obtained to put a SMI, or severely mental ill housing unit, in one of the large homes 2 doors down. I believe safety for our children should always be the first priority. We have Estella Vista Elementary, which is just 2 blocks from that home. Littleton Elementary School, which is exactly behind my residence, 2 doors down from this residence. And then, of course, we have La Jolla Community High School, which is within walking distance. We have countless parents with growing children, many grandparents who watch their grandchildren, and we should be concerned. And the ones that know about this are concerned. After doing some research, the individuals that enter these homes have been released from either a psychiatric ward, thank you, rehabilitation facility, and or prison. After reading an article about an SMI, I read that day-to-day operations living in these homes are unpredictable. The residents go into psychosis and their behavior can be combative. In this article, there is a story about a resident becoming suicidal and going out in the middle of the street and tying up that street for hours. We have families in our neighborhood with children on their bikes and roller skates, and they should not be subjected to this behavior. Mayor, I want to thank you for directing us towards some resources to try to see what we can do about this. But if there's anything that somebody can do for us, I'd appreciate it.
And again, without commenting, we will give all the resources that the City of Avondale can to help you with this.
Respectfully, thank you.
Ma'am, would you mind stating your name for the record?
My name is Diana Duke, and I live right next door to the property that's being considered. I just wrote a letter. First of all, I want to thank the mayor's office and the Avondale Police Department, Curtis Nelson. The day that I called, and my HOA, every one of them got back to me within 12 hours, and I was amazed, and I thank you for that. The mayor's office told me that they would contact the police department and the Department of Services, which they did because I received a call from Lieutenant Lopez that same day. I'm just going to read my letter. It has come to my attention that the property directly to the east of me is preparing to become a group home for mentally ill. I have contacted HOA, the mayor's office, Congressman Grijalva, and a city council member, which was Curtis Nelson. I have been working with the Avondale Police Department as well. They have investigated, and it appears that this resident has not applied yet for application or permit. The house that I'm referring to is right next door to me. It's a 2-story house where anyone living in that home has access to looking into my backyard, possibly into my windows, and this is very disheartening and frightening to me. I do live alone. I'm sure that there's places that are not surrounded by neighborhoods and schools that could easily house these folks that are in need of help. I'm certainly not against helping anyone. I have 2 teenage granddaughters that spend quite a bit of time with me, and I am concerned, as Leo is, for the safety of the children. It's my desire to stop this home from being introduced to our neighborhood and causing stress and possible danger to it. Like I said, I'm not against helping those in need, people that are on drugs and need help, and alcoholics that need help. If they had a place to go to, that would be wonderful. But my mother died at 55 because of alcoholism, because she couldn't get help. So I'm not against helping, but I am terrified of having unstable people living next door to me. So.
Ma'am, you did fantastic.
Thank you.
You did great. LT, Chief, Liz, do you mind meeting the group out in the back? Is there anybody else in the back who wanted to comment?
Do you have one?
Please.
Yvonne? And then anyone else who's here for unscheduled public appearance, you're welcome to come forward.
Ma'am, do you mind stating your name for the record?
Hello, my name is Yvonne Hopper, and I live in the Coldwater Ridge community. Hi, Veronica, neighbor, and Curtis. It's nice to see you. Yes, I just wanted to also address my concerns. I do live on that street, and I have gone through this. I've been a resident of Avondale for 20 years and have seen my fair share of what comes with a group home. And just being that, I understand there are rights that they do have, which is totally, I'm in the healthcare field. They are entitled to that oversight, and they have that protection, but I also ask for our protection too, because it is very disheartening and frustrating to come out of your home and be asked to bum a cigarette or to see the fire ambulance there at least once a week when you have family and friends over. It really does disturb the quality of life in our neighborhood. So I know that these homes and our demographics probably do make for affordable housing to purchase and make these group homes. But within the CC&Rs of our HOA, it does say that you can't conduct business. And our HOA is directing us out. So we're coming to you for help, assistance, direction. So I kindly ask that you look at this situation as it's being right next door to you. We're here. We trust in you to deliver on your promises of serving us. So I just kindly ask that you guys just give us everything you got. And we thank you for your service. We thank you for your time and consideration to our request.
It's good seeing you again. Thank you.
Always. Thank you.
Chief, are you good now? Okay. Folks, if you don't mind, they'll meet you out in the lobby. Liz, thank you.
Mr. Mayor, if I can ask our planning manager to also go out, who might be able to assist and tell them what the city is currently doing.
That would be great. Thank you, Ron. Marcel, I think that's it for unscheduled for this issue, for unscheduled public appearance, public comment.
Correct, Mayor. We do have 2 requests to speak for agenda item 5B.
And you're going to read those?
Yes, I will read those.
Item number 4 is consent agenda. Are there any counselors who wish to have an item removed for separate consideration? Hearing none, can I get a motion for the consent agenda, please? I have a motion from Councilmember Nielsen, a second from the Vice Mayor. Please vote.
Aye. Yes.
Thanks, Max. Passes 7-0. Thank you, Council. Item number 5A and 5B will not be presented together, but they are similar in nature. Ron, item 5A, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor and Council. Up is Renee. She'll be presenting both items. So I'll turn it over to your Finance and Budget Director.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. I am here tonight to present this item. Purpose is to hold a public hearing for the proposed property tax levy, which is called the Truth in Taxation hearing. The Truth in Taxation is basically required when you're levying more than you did the prior year. Now, per statute, the levy can increase annually up to 2%, and there are some public notice requirements that result from this. So in looking at the property tax is made up of 2 parts, the first being the primary property tax, which is used for general purpose, and the secondary tax, which is solely for the purpose of repaying bond principal and interest. But tonight, for this purpose, we're going to focus on the primary tax. So on this chart that you're looking at, you're seeing what our current year, fiscal 24, levy and rates are. So from left to right, our proposed levy for next year would be just over $4 million compared to the 3.7. That does represent a levy increase of $300,000. But if you keep going, you can see what our rate is doing. The rate for 24 was 63.73 cents, and the rate for next year is proposed to go down to 62.41 cents. So that is a result of the increase in property values, which gets applied to that rate. So when you're adding in our secondary property tax, it will generate just under $9.5 million for the 25 budget. When you look at the total property tax bill by jurisdiction, you can see that included in there are the school districts, the county, as well as special districts. So what you're looking at here is just one sample of one property owner in the city of Avondale with their most recent bill. And the city, in this case, represented just over 11% of that entire property bill. So with that, our recommendation tonight is to conduct a public hearing, a truth and taxation hearing, and upon conclusion of the public hearing, to have a roll call vote to set forth the intent to raise property tax levies. And then the council action for that levy would not occur until 2 weeks after the budget adoption.
Renee, thank you for that. I'm going to go ahead and open up the public hearing on this issue. Marcelo, do you mind reading the 2 comments that were received from the public?
Thank you, Mayor. The requests to speak are for the next agenda item, 5B.
I'm sorry.
For 5A, we have not received any requests to speak.
Then I'm going to go ahead and close the public hearing on this issue. You know, Renee, several years ago, council had, used Mike's term here, had put forth an appetite to raise the property tax every year to get to somewhere around $1.80. And I'm thinking that was probably 7 or 8 years ago, from what I remember. And we're still at $1.45. Obviously, we're making it work with the funds that we've allocated, the 2%. I think people look at the 2%, and Ron and I are of the same mind of this, is the 2% is, if you don't increase the 2% the full amount, then it comes, even if you raise it 2% going forward, you still lost that dollar amount, and it compounds over those years. So you've lost that revenue that goes forward. When we look at our property tax rate, how does it compare to other cities in the West Valley?
I would say that we're probably on the lower end. We do have in our financial policy the cap of the $2, but when we're looking at our forecasted rate, we are seeing that because of property values, we are seeing that trend of that property tax rate going down.
And I knew, and we've always tried, when we look at our water rates, we try and keep our water rates at the lower end. We try and do mild increases when it comes to property tax. You're seeing the actual rate go down over previous year, which is not unusual for this council. It's gone down several times since you guys have all been on council. So I know we hear from people sometimes about, oh, you're raising property rates or property taxes. We aren't. We're trying to keep a baseline there so we can still provide city services and still be fiscally responsible to the city. So I appreciate that. Any comments from council on this? Seeing none, can I get a motion, please?
And Mayor, it is a roll call.
There's no motion on this at all, right?
No, there is a motion.
That's what I thought.
And it is a roll call vote, so I will do a roll call vote at this time. Councilmember Condi? Councilmember Malone? Councilmember Nielsen?
Aye.
Councilmember Solario? Councilmember White?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pineda? Mayor Weiss?
Aye, and just for the record, let me say that Councilmember Solorio made the motion and Councilmember Nielsen seconded it.
Thank you.
Renee, item B, please.
All right. So, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, I am also here tonight to present our proposed fee changes for fiscal year 2025. So there are some posting requirements which were met. We did post our proposed fees on the city website on April 3rd. It's required to be done 60 days prior to any council action. We also posted notice on May 15th on social media, which is required at least 15 days prior to council action. And then we are requesting the adoption of the proposed fees tonight. We did receive one formal public comment that was included in the council agenda, and we will be addressing it later in this presentation. So staff reviewed the fees and recommended changes from the following departments, and I will go through a little bit of the highlights from the actual fees that were proposed from these departments. The first being in police. So overall, there were some eliminating of outdated fees no longer used, simplifying the fees that we currently have, and then updating some fees to account for updated pricing. In both parks and the Public Works Solid Waste, we do have a couple of new fees being proposed, the memorial bench, as well as some pickup fee and container replacement. In the development services under both the building division and the planning division, there are various fees being updated to reflect actual costs that actually align with some surrounding communities. Under the building division specifically, there's a couple of new fees being proposed for a temporary certificate of occupancy, as well as an application processing fee. And in the planning division, group housing registration, as well as a sign packaging fee. In the engineering service, similar things occurred where new fees were being developed to reflect actual costs and to align with surrounding communities, and those fees include pavement cut fees, telecom fees, traffic control plan fees, and sewer verification. So this was the area that our public comment addressed, and so at this time I'm going to turn it over to our city engineer, Kim Moon.
Hi, good evening, Mayor and Council. This is a quick overview of the comments received on some of the engineering fees proposed in the current fee schedule. So, let me get my notes here. The city's received comments in 3 of the fees in the proposed fee schedule for telecommunications projects, specifically the plan review fee, the construction permit fee for boring, and the construction permit fee for handhold vaults. Before I started here at Avondale, the engineering department had assembled a telecommunications team called the Fiber Force. and to review recent inquiries and trends related to the fiber projects here in Avondale. Additionally, city staff has ongoing meetings with telecommunications companies regarding feedback on agreements, design process, construction details, methods, and associated fees. We also have collaborated with other agencies on industry trends, shared experiences, new ideas, and best practices, including review of fee schedules of neighboring cities and other agencies, as shown here in this spreadsheet. Overall, city staff is recommending changes to the fee schedule to create new fees for pavement cuts, traffic control, sewer verification, and a new section specifically for telecommunication. As part of the new telecom section, in response to feedback from fiber companies and to help reduce costs, a new fee was created for soft landscape potholing splice pit of $15 per hole, in addition to the hardscape potholing at $50 a hole. Other telecom fees are proposed for implementation, and they have no increase at this time. In our city and other cities, the number of fiber projects are projected to increase, and construction methods for how to install telecommunications infrastructure continues to change over time. City staff will continue to promote communication and sharing of information with our partners in the telecommunication industry on the costs of providing services, competition in the market, and how we compare with the fee structures of other agencies. On the slides overhead are some graphics and photos for some of the fees in the new telecommunications section of the fee schedule. A flower pot is another term for a small handhold vault or box. So you can see in the graphic the more typical larger box that you may see in your neighborhoods, and a flower pot is a term that some of the telecommunications firms use for the smaller handhold. Boring is, if you look in the photo, there's an example of construction boring where they put a conduit under existing infrastructure without impacting the infrastructure, hopefully, and without digging a ditch and disrupting the existing pavement and travel lanes. These types of items and associated fees sound simple and generic, but staff still needs to inspect the installation of these devices. Fees are to help cover the cost of inspections and any corrections associated with those fiber infrastructure installations. Staff recommends the revisions to the fee schedule as proposed and will continue to work with the telecommunications industry so Avondale can be competitive in the market and to help ensure quality services to the residents and businesses of Avondale. So before I turn it back over to Renee, I'm happy to answer any questions about the engineering fees.
Kim, how long were the previous fees put into place? How long have they existed?
Several years. They haven't been updated in a while.
And I think that's when you look at the jump, it's a significant jump across the board. Let's not kid ourselves, it is. But I think that's where having those reviews, I'm not saying we haven't, but I think having those reviews on a regular basis really does help us avoid these dramatic increases where it gets the attention of people, even though now we're less than most of the cities, if not all of them, when it comes to these type of reviews. So I would just ask that moving forward, we're a little bit more aggressive on these as we inspect them. Any comments from council? Okay, Kim, thank you.
All right, thank you. I'm going to turn it back over to Renee.
So you got the exciting part of it out of the way, and now it's back to Renee.
I'm glad you think that.
I love that kind of. We're good. We're good.
So,
no.
With that, Mayor, Vice.
Hold on, do you want to say that louder? Hold on, say it louder. That was a good dad joke.
Mayor, that was a little bit boring, okay?
It was.
It was engaging.
Renee?
Okay, thank you. Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council, with that, the recommendation is for Council to adopt Resolution 1054-0624 to approve the fiscal year 2025 summary of proposed fee changes. And then the next steps would be to post the new schedule prior to July 1, with it going into effect on July 1.
So, Renee, before we get into public comment, do you know why the jalapeno put on a jacket?
No.
Because he was a little chilly.
Thank you.
Marcella?
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I'll read the public comments. Okay, the first comment is from Greg with the last name submitted as Dysart. And I quote, "To pay for a police report about my local street, a $5 report tax/day cost is un-American. Voters expect that our government will provide transparency and not fee out a citizen from understanding city safety issues. Taxpayers fund our police to report back to citizens. In a voting year, listen to voters. We will vote against those who vote to prevent open data and, worse, make money a barrier to freedom of information. We appeal to council, being mindful that inflation is costing us all more than we can absorb. Voters expect the government to do more with less as we all endure each trip to the local grocery store. Voters don't want Memorial Park benches. Voters only get a 4-day work week from city staff. Voters don't need to pay for police reports, and voters don't want the city council to approve any property tax increases until you cut back first on all department expenditures. Vote no on more spending and vote yes on resolutions to restore a common sense approach to each of the City of Avondale. Cut costs first. That was the first one. And then the second request to speak was submitted anonymously. It just says Avondale voter. And I quote, "In the economic environment, it is a failure of the city council to raise rates rather than cutting budgets. There is no reason to add city staff. Approve projects that are high in job creation and stop allowing city staff to spend taxpayer dollars doing work outside of the scope of their jobs. When the recycling truck spills trash all over the street, not one of 2 people in the truck stop to clean up the mess. Seems like you could cut one of those jobs. Voters will elect candidates according to how they vote on issues affecting our communities leading into the next elections for mayor and city council. The city council and mayor should vote no to adopt new fees that will crush working households across Avondale." End quote.
Any new ones at all, Marcella?
Thank you, Mayor. I have not received any additional requests to speak.
So, I think this council has to, my opinion is the fee schedule has been worked on for months. I think it has to be voted on. In my opinion, I'm going to vote for it. With that being said, I think there has to be a in-depth review of fee structures in the city of Avondale without stepping on the city manager's feet. But I think there's some things that we can look at. When we look at a $5 fee for a police report, is there anything, how many police reports were done over the last year in the city of Avondale? What is the cost of retrieving a police report? What are all those things that are involved? And I think we have to look at that and say, okay, which fees can we live with, which fees can't we? Which fees do we need to eliminate, and which fees do we keep? And I don't think that's for tonight. I think that's a very long process. That's a multi-meeting process. It's gathering information from other cities. It's doing report. There's a lot there. So I think for me tonight, I'm okay with what I see here, with the understanding that at some point in the next few months, we're going to come back and look at these fees and say what makes sense, what doesn't. Because I will tell you the one that I look at, and I'm okay with it right now because we don't do a lot of these fees, but if I'm a victim of a crime and I have to pay $5 to get the report, I feel like I'm being victimized again in some small aspect of that. Now, if it's a lawsuit for a case, I think the attorney should have to pay for that. I'm okay with that. So I think council has to dive into some things that are a little bit deeper than we can tonight.
Thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. First of all, victims get it for free.
Okay, good.
So they wouldn't be charged for that. But it's really a policy decision if council wants to not charge fees or charge fees, and I would prefer to do that at a work session than handpicking one or two to subsidize this and not subsidize that. We currently have a philosophy to charge for these kinds of services, but if council wishes to change that direction, again, the minor ones, we wouldn't have to make any budget adjustments, but, a lot of our one-time projects, the parks and different buildings, are paid for from one-time fees. So we have to be very careful of the road we go down, of which ones we're eliminating going. But I'd be happy to bring this back at a work session at some point and get policy direction from council.
And I appreciate you commenting on the victim fee, because I think that's important for the public to know that. So, council, are we okay with bringing this back sometime in the future, like the next few months, and having council have maybe 1 or 2 work sessions at this and really decide what we want to do? And what I've asked Ron is to have this after the July 30th election, maybe in September, and have any new council members who might be on board be part of that input and discussion, since they're going to have to live with this budget-wise going forward, and the new mayor also. So Ron, thank you for that. Can I get a motion on this item, please? I have a motion from Councilmember Nielsen, a second from the Vice Mayor. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you, Max. Passes 7-0. Summary of current events. I have one that's happening this Saturday, and it's happening at 8-Bit Aleworks. It is a fundraiser for our, I believe her first name was Sarah, for Sarah Selby. And they're throwing a fundraiser. I know PD is going to be there. They're donating 25% of whatever beers are sold that night to the Selby family. So it's on their Facebook page. I think PD is doing some work with them. So if anybody can make it out on Saturday night and help support the Selby family, that would be incredible. Anyone else? Tina?
Thank you, Mayor. I just want to just say shout out to Parks and Recreation. Today was the first day of our Avondale summer camp, and Daniela attended and came home exhausted. So great job, Parks and Rec. Thank you. And I did get some feedback from some other residents. They were very grateful for the new program. One lady in particular, she has one son at home, and she said, I did not know what I was going to do with him this summer because, it's just me and him, and she was very thankful for the program. So, again, thank you so much. I think hopefully we can get some additional folks registered for the next couple sessions. So thank you.
I just want to piggyback on that. So me and Tina have always been out in the neighborhoods, in the community, and when we're out there, this has finally came through. It's happened. That was one of the major requests we'd get. What is the city of Avondale going to do? And that just takes me back to my recreation days when I used to pay $25 to go to recreation. But it gives kids, gets them off the street, it gives them something to do. I'm happy that Daniela was tired, probably with all the other kids that were tired. So I'm so happy that you guys did this. Thanks.
Anyone else? Max?
I won't get a chance to send off Brian, so I just wanted to thank him for all he's done for Parks and Rec, and I'm so excited with the programming that's going to go forward. Bon voyage.
And we will see you, Brian, tomorrow night. Okay. Any other comments? Anything? Can I get a motion to adjourn? I have a motion from the Vice Mayor, a second from Councilmember Nielsen. Any further discussion? Seeing none, please vote.
Aye.
Sorry, Max, I adjourned before you said aye. Councilmember Solorio? We are adjourned. Everyone be safe getting home, please.